let me give you the questions for the discussion, and then you can choose what you want to discuss. I want to assign the last one. The last activity for all the groups, will be to make an argument about the text with an outline. Okay, and here I'm giving you a sample, and after that there'll be 4 arguments which I took from your journal. I modified them a little bit to make them into like a straightforward sentence or sentences. Okay, so basically you get a sentence like this, and then you should make an outline like this. There's a difference between topic outlines and sentence outlines. With sentence outlines, you articulate or you point out the main ideas with each sentence. Okay, if you don't know how to make sentence outline within the shortness of like 1 hour, then you make a topic outline, and that's fine. But I want you to be able to analyze the sentence, to determine the parts of your essay. Like in this sentence, there can be 2 to 3 parts you want to go into for analysis. So you have to divide up this sentence into 2 to 3 parts. Okay, and then under each part, you should give evidence. Okay, so for instance, here is a possible thesis statement. Sammy is actually a sexist, limited by his provincial background, although he means to defend the 3 girls. Okay, so suppose this is the argument. And so I will start with this one. 你们知道这个句子哈，它叫做复杂句。那这个是主要子句，这个是附属子句，对不对？好，那主要的 idea 就在主要子句出现。所以我在发展一个 paper 的时候，我当然是从附属子句开始发展起，因为我的 main point 是 Sammy is actually a sexist, limited by his provincial background. 这个是我的 main point. 好 ，so I start with how and why he defends the 3 girls. To defend the 3 girls, Sammy quits a job which his parents care a lot about. So this is the first point. I talk about how he defends the girl and the negative consequence of his act. Okay, Sammy does so because this is the second part. He does not identify with AMP and looks down upon the customers in the supermarket. So with this reason, he seems to be well justified, because he feels that this is a place with trivial people, with people worrying only about like buying things, conducting their routine life, whereas he is the one to be romantic, to be heroic, etc. Okay, and then the second one, he is very much attracted to Queenie. And it is with this one that I want to make the transition to the fact that Sammy is actually limited and sexist, but not really heroic. With the first 2 points here, that he criticizes AMP as well as the customers, and he's romantically attracted to Queenie. He seems to be a romantic hero, but no, he's not, because he's limited by his class background. Okay, there is a large difference between him and Queenie, and he cannot live up to Queenie's standard. He's also very conditioned by the commodities in the supermarket in his world, because in his language, although he looks down upon the customers as sheep, he actually is very much familiar with the whole setup of the supermarket. He can remember what one aisle carries completely. And then he knows what aisle 3 is, what aisle 4 is. He knows everything about the supermarket, and then he also compare the girls in terms of the commodities, like ice cream. He compares Queenie's breast to ice creams. So Sammy is also a consumer, in this commodity world. Okay. So the first 2 points shows how he is conditioned by his provincial background. Okay, He is also conditioned by a sexist ideology, which gets him to pay attention only to the standard type of beauty. Because the way he looks at the three girls, definitely he only cares about Queenie because she's a standard type of beauty. She has a standard figure. Okay, and the other ones with different figures or different sizes, he looked down upon, etc. Okay, as of course there are other kinds of evidence. Like he says that women's brain is only like a jar with bees buzzing in it, etc. And then he calls the short, chubby one a sweet can, 像是个桶子一样 etc. Okay, so his descriptions are frequently sexist and negative of the girls, isolating only Queenie as the object of his praise. Okay, so in this way, I want to argue that he is sexist and limited by his provincial background. But this is only one possible argument because, I think it's very interesting that the story is open to many different interpretations. You can see Sammy as a hero. You can, here, this is one argument. He tries to be a hero. Okay, and also specifically, he tries to be the girl's hero. So this can be another argument. Okay, so let me explain the other questions. The first one, ending. Basically, the questions, most of them I discussed with David in the recording. Basically, I use the same script, but in the recording, what I do is what we did was we pick up the questions we like to answer. So we didn't exhaust all the questions I have in mind or we had in mind. Okay. So ending, what do you make of it? So here I gave you some details of the endings. For instance, the fact that both Sammy and the girl go into the electric eye. So are there any symbolic meanings of the electric eye? Okay, and then when Sammy is outside, he describes Lango as being gray, dark gray. And he feels that the world is going to be harder to him, etc. Okay, and also he calls his own act a gesture. He has to finish the gesture that he begins. So what does gesture means? Okay, the second one, Sammy's language. Here I'm giving you some possible descriptive words, but I didn't really give you specific examples. This is to help you start, collecting samples of his language that you like. For instance, colloquial, you can use your own examples. Or if you don't agree with it, you don't need to talk about it. You can pick from these adjectives, or you can use your own. But make sure that you have to give examples to describe the kind of language Sammy uses. Okay? So yeah, you don't need to agree with these descriptions. Okay, but make sure you give examples. Okay, and the third and fourth questions has to do with trying to put Sammy in his position. The first one is to make a contrast between Sammy on the one hand and Stokesy, McMahon, Lango, and the other customers on the other hand. Okay, so that's one question. And the fourth one is to describe his social position and the setting, the town. Okay, what world he is in. Okay, so here there are some clues or some suggestions for you. And the fifth question, fifth and sixth, 就是两组可以选那个 theme。其实谈到 theme 和后面的 major argument 就很近了，很近。基本上 theme 就像 topic， 然后 major argument 或是它的 message 就是你的那个 argument， 就是一个 theme 可能是一个名词片语，那个 message 或是 major argument 就是把它变成一整句话。Okay, like you can say that this story is an initiation story, 成长故事。Okay, but you can also argue that this story is only apparently an initiation story because Sammy doesn't grow. 那是一个 argument. 好， because it is an initiation story because Sammy realizes how impulsive he was. That's another possible argument. Okay, and he recognizes how cruel or realistic this world is. And being impulsive leads him to some negative consequences, okay? You can also see, because self against society is kind of a major theme we have in the first five stories in this unit. Every story is about self versus society. So you can also describe Sammy's personal aspiration, 他自己的理想 versus the kind of social control he falls under.